Writing feedback number 4. So this follows on from video number 3, and we're looking at some writing which is done by my student, and she's doing a fantastic job. I can see just looking over these paragraphs of using the words, the phrases, the idioms that we've been practicing in class. So if you want to take note of how to learn vocabulary, it's put it into practice in your writing. That's what she's doing, and I'm very impressed. So when you wish a lot, you may suffer from insomnia. So not being able to sleep. There's a perfect example. Because of thinking too much. If you cannot, so let's make the full words. We don't use the contracted forms in our writing, generally, unless we're copying what somebody said. If you cannot obtain what you wish, as I said in the previous video, wish for, you will be freaking out and feel down. Excellent use of the idioms. It could lead to a more serious mental health condition. I think that in the previous sentence we're talking about something that's a state or a condition. So rather than use it, I'm going to change that to this. This could lead to a more serious mental health condition like depression. So excellent use of the word condition. So she's really using the words well. Sometimes you may experience okay? So we have experiences in. We get experience in something, but we experience a thing directly. So you may experience a state of extreme distress, excellent language, that results as a great mental pain. Oh, this is good. The accumulated great mental pains. So she's changed from one pain to the plural, which is normally uncountable, but here, because of the word accumulated, which means to get more and more different types of pain, she can use the plural, and with accumulated, it's working really well. So that's an excellent word to put in here. The accumulated great mental pains will lead to a mental health problem. Condition, problem, she's using the words really well. Now, I see a linking phrase here. So when I see this, I'm expecting a contrast between these paragraphs. But before I do that, I'll have to say that many students have problems with these phrases, and it should be on the other hand. And this means that something is sharply contrasted. Okay, so we have two very different things. On the other hand, being a human, each person has to take full responsibilities for himself. So that's different to thinking too much, but it's not a complete contrast to accumulating mental health problems. So I think we can get rid of on the other hand here, and we can go directly to the main point, okay, which is being a human, each person has to take full responsibilities for himself. So this gerund is a little bit awkward here. I think it would be better to say something like, it is part of life, or it is a fact of life. It is a fact of life that each person has to take full. We're talking about responsibility here generally. So we're using the uncountable form here, or a singular form. Full responsibility for himself, his family, and society. So this linking phrase didn't quite work here, or not perfectly, but this one certainly does. Okay, therefore, so it's connecting the two sentences very, very well. Therefore, stress is generally uncountable, so we can take out the article. Therefore, stress is a common part of everyday life. If you are good at managing stress, stress is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so we've got a good linking word, we've got good different sentence structures. So here's a simple conditional, and it works really well. And this is very true. The most important thing is to have balance in our daily lives, to make sure we have some time to relax, for leisure activities and doing our hobbies. So first of all, we have a semicolon here, which could link two sentences together, but I don't know if there's enough difference here to create two separate sentences. So I think what I'm going to do is just put a comma here. Now we have infinitive, is to have balance in our daily lives, to make sure we have some time to relax. So I think we need to add another infinitive here, and we're going to use a more difficult one. So hopefully this might be a new word for some people, to engage in. Now let's make the sentence even better. In our favorite. Okay, our favorite leisure activities. Now leisure activities and hobbies are quite similar, but I'll keep the hobbies here. And to do. We're using the infinitive. We're keeping everything consistent. So if you look, is to have balance, to make sure, to engage in our favorite, they don't like English spelling, leisure activities, and to do our hobbies. Okay, so it's true. Once again, I need to, I'll just get rid of this so that I'm not having my blue grammar mark come up and distract me. I'll just say it is a part of life. The most important thing is to have balance in our daily lives, to make sure we have some time to relax, to engage in our favorite leisure activities, and to do our hobbies. It is. So full, write the words out in full, not the contracted form. It is true that the older people, so we're talking about them in general, and it's the first time that we've mentioned them. So we don't need a definite article here. We don't need that. And it's the same for the younger people. We don't know which younger people. We're talking about any younger people. It is true that older people are happier than younger people. I'm not sure if we need this exclamation mark, but maybe she's trying to make a strong point here. Generally, especially if you're doing academic writing, don't use exclamation marks, okay? Unless there's a very valid reason to have them. The older people have already been too tired of trying for wishes. So the older people have already been, well, that means they might have been for a long time, but they've already become, would sound better. Their trying for their wishes has made them tired. The older people, and once again, I think we can just say older people. We're talking about in general. Older people have already become too tired of trying. I think we're better off to say we become tired from something. So I'm tired of doing the dishes, but if we talk about my state of being tired, I am tired from doing something. So have already become too tired from trying for wishes, achievements, and successes for a long time. trying for wishes, achievements, and successes for a long time. They understand very well that they cannot, is really one word, bring any physical things with them when they die except karma. They understand very well or very clearly that they cannot bring any physical things. Now, karma is not really a physical thing. So we might say they understand very clearly that they cannot bring anything with them when they die except for karma. When we talk about things that we can't take with us when we die, we might also use the word material things. Material things. This means the things that we buy, the things that we get in our lives. They realize that everything that they have had is enough, and they are no longer green with jealousy and envy. So fantastic. She's using all of the idioms and doing a great job doing it as well. So now we've talked about the older people a little bit, so they're becoming more specific. So these older people have learned that when you are getting old, you suffer from many possible physical and mental health conditions and diseases. Still using the words we've been practicing, that's great. In this case, you just wish to sleep like a log, be fit as a fiddle and full of life. Once again, to some people this might look strange, but she's just practicing the words that we've been learning and using as part of our language development. For the older people, now we want a verb in here. This fighting is more of an adjective to describe how they are. So, to be fighting fit and enjoying life within, to be fighting fit and enjoying life within the possible conditions. So they are the conditions we have. So they're the possible conditions, or within their possible conditions. Within their possible conditions are not the most concern. We're not putting a grade on here. So we're talking about their number one concern is their main concern, while other things are not important. That is why older people are happier than the younger people. Now, if you notice how I read that, I'm automatically taking the articles out because I don't need them. We're talking about older and younger people in general. So, after all, where is the answer? I think it's better to say answer. We look for answers to questions. So where is the answer to the question, how to have a happy life? You need to have a balanced, D, to make it the adjective. You need to have a balanced life in, okay, I think we're talking about while. We're using active forms here, even if it's the gerund. While working and enjoying, challenging and resting, achieving and releasing. We release something. And releasing stress, wishing and retiring. I think we need to really add another and here. And finally, wishing and retiring. So there's a lot of INGs here, but I'll leave that as is. You need to know how much is enough for you and when you should stop desiring, earning and achieving. So I think they work much better here, our ING endings. Okay, and just finally, you need to be aware that if you are full of beans, strong as an ox and in excellent shape, you will have a happy life. Wonderful. So that's a great job. I'm very impressed and I'm very happy.